Welcome everybody to the Friday at 6 talk show. Here at the table, and the live audience may applaud, here at the table are Benjamin Thym, CEO of Barcoo, and Jan Beckers, the CEO of the Hitfox Group. We're going to talk with them about their product. We're going to talk about their founder's career. But we'll start off with something that is going on right now in both of their companies. Namely, how are you going to make money with apps? Because this is the topic of this interview. They're both involved in apps, both in a very different way. But of course, they have to make money. Because even Berlin startups sometimes have to make money. Jan Beckers, CEO of Hitfox Group. How do you make money with apps? And tell us first what it exactly is that you do.
So basically Hitfox itself is an incubator, and we have two companies in the space of mobile app distribution, and the revenue model for them is pretty simple. So we get paid whenever one of the 80 partners we have, 80 mobile game publishers, gets one download. So for every download we get about $1 to $2. And then some of the partners get up to 1 million downloads from us per month.
Wow, that sounds pretty simple. Why doesn't everybody do that?
Probably the revenue model itself may be simple, but then to build the global network around that and the technology, that's probably the harder part in our case compared to the revenue model.
Yeah. Benjamin, you are in the top 10 of most downloaded iOS apps in Germany in the history. On 9th place you have?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, we are here at the table with one of the most epic companies in Berlin. But then the question is, of course, do you make money?
Of course we make money. So basically Barcoo is all about the products that are around you. It's about shampoos, it's about food, it's about drink. Whatever we buy every day, whatever is on the table every day, you can scan it and you get information about the product. You get price information, you get health information, you get sustainability information and whatnot. And what we do is that we offer the app for free to get maximum reach, and then we put some clever advertisement on it. So basically when you scan a beer, for example, you will get advertisement for other beers. That's what we do.
And I think that one of the most remarkable things about your company is that you started in 2008, when we were all walking around with like these Nokias, right, with very small screens. The iPhone wasn't even there when you started with this purely mobile product. Can you tell in short, because as you said, you're scanning products in supermarkets, for example, how has this whole product developed in your eyes, and especially better, what's the future?
So yeah, at the beginning was incredibly hard because we were developing the app for J2ME clients, for weird Sony Ericsson phones.
I hear people laughing in the background.
Yeah, Symbian client for Nokia
Symbian.
phones. It was horrible. But then fortunately Android came and the iPhone, and now it's so much easier and better. And well, it developed over the time in quite a good way because we were just always adding more information. For example, you get a CO2 footprint, you get a water footprint now about the product.
Gamification?
Not yet so much, but in the future actually a lot.
Aha, okay.
How do you know that?
Well, because I prepare.
But that's not public news.
Oh, it's not public? Oh, all right. I think this is a record. Within 3 minutes, we have made some news. Tell us a little bit more about these plans that you have. Come on, it's now on the table anyway.
Exactly. So basically what we realized is when we tell people, scan this beer and you get kind of whatever nutritional values, it might be not as interesting for beer, you know? So we were testing out one thing, and that is just scan 9 other beers and you become the beer king of Barcoo, for example.
Yeah.
And then you get a badge and then you can post it on Facebook, and people are doing that extremely, like a lot.
Because I think what you're aiming at is viral growth, right? Because now people have this individual thing, they look into their app and they see products, you know, what it's in it, and also they can compare it with other products, but it's not something that you so easily share with other people, right?
Exactly. And we also realized that we do so much content work. We have great content. You have the best wine guide ever in the whole world. But people, of course, it's a hard thing to reach the content because they have to scan a wine at first, and then we have to know it is a wine, and then maybe it's at the bottom there's a wine guide. So what we'll do in the future is that we will add more education, educational things, so that you do a wine course, maybe a 4-day Barcoo wine course, and then people
Will be a community aspect.
We'll see, I guess so.
Jan, you are a serial entrepreneur in Berlin, which is pretty special because, of course, there are others, but most of the people that we've seen over the past years are funding their company for the first time. When it comes to mobile, I mean, it's still a very, very niche, small part of the total advertisement online money. Where do you see it going?
Actually, if you look at the game space, which is, I would say, like sometimes 2 to 3 years ahead in terms of mobile, then that's not that small. So for gaming, probably already 25% of the money goes in mobile advertising. And I think what you can expect for other verticals is that other verticals will just follow the path. And if you look at what's happening in gaming now, where mobile companies are disrupting the Facebook companies that were disrupting before, the online gaming companies that were disrupting the traditional gaming companies, then you can just see mobile is really a revolution now, and gaming is probably the first vertical to get that.
Yeah, okay, so gaming is before the cycle is really going there. At the same time, 20% of not a lot, you know, is in the end also still very little. I mean, this story we've heard 2 or 3 years, it was exactly the same. They also said in 2 or 3 years, mobile advertisement is going to be huge. And now you say again, is going to be huge. So when is it really going to deliver?
Actually, looking at the numbers of the companies we serve, it is already delivering.
Okay.
So there it is.
Now I'm really curious
In
because
gaming,
you have all these
gaming,
analytics.
it is there.
You have all these analytics. Share a little bit of what you see daily.
What we can see, and this is not our customer data, there are companies that you never heard of that have barely not existed 2 years ago, and now they make about 2 to 3 million in revenues in the App Store per day. And this is gaming companies that were not relevant 2 years ago. So, and because they earn so much money, they're willing to spend as well. And so I would say in the general internet, mobile is still like hot and a trend. In gaming, it's there, and it's becoming the dominant platform.
Okay. A little bit about you personally. Because the longer I have spent time here in Germany, the more I'm convinced of the fact that Germans are difficult in taking risks. And you have already founded 5 companies or so. What moment in your life decided you to take on all this risk and to fail maybe even?
It wasn't that much of a risk for me because I started doing my studies on the side. And at that time, I was 20, it was not about like creating a big company, not the next Facebook, not the next Google. I just wanted to organize the best parties in the student city, Münster, where I lived. And so I started with something that was a lot of fun on the side. And it turned out, hey, being an entrepreneur is fun. And when I reached the limits of what I could have reached in the party business in Münster, then I said like, hey, what's next? And by that time, it wasn't almost a risk because I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And then I think starting early on the side is probably the most risk-averse way to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. And it could even work for people that are in their jobs, that they start something little on their side without too much risk, see, is it growing, is it not growing, and then just go full-time.
Okay, so there wasn't like the moment in your life when you thought, okay, I'm not going to work at a boring bank or at a law firm or wherever. I'm really going to start my own company. There wasn't one spark that really, you know, enlightened you?
Probably it was very enlightening when you are in your studies, organize these parties on the side and see like you're earning more, you're having much more fun than you could ever have if you go to McKinsey or whatever. I think that was the moment where I said like, okay, why should I go the employed route?
Yeah. Benjamin, Ben, you were at McKinsey, you did consultancy work.
BCG.
And for the Boston Consultancy Group or only for BCG?
For Boston Consulting Group and Deloitte.
Yeah. And you quit, you left. You also founded something yourself. Why did you do that?
Because first of all, I guess the seed was always in me, and with my co-founders, we were talking about it all the time since we were 18 or 17, I guess. And so it was always clear that we want to do it one day. Actually, at that point, when I was working for the consultancies, I did not expect it anymore to happen. But then I was so annoyed by this huge load of work that you have to do 80 hours a week and weekends, and it was just often crappy work for customers you didn't care for. And so I realized, okay, that I have to change it dramatically, and I want to go to Berlin and work for a startup, or even better, just do my own startup. Yeah. And that's what we did. Yeah.
And then you tried to get money, to get going with this idea, and then you didn't get any money, so you did some consultancy work again to get this startup bootstrapped. And when was there the moment that you thought, oh, maybe I'm going to make it?
I guess there was no special moment where I realized, okay, it might work out. It was just a chain of events. For little things like getting your first office. It was a crappy little small room in Mitte, but it felt so much more right than the home office. Then, for example, that when we started the nutritional light, the Lebensmittelampel, our first TV appearances, that was just amazing. Then our iOS release, and then our first customer. So it was just a chain of convincing moments.
And now, as the highlight of your career, appearing at Friday at 6, of course.
Obviously.
Jan, can you share some thoughts about what's going on at this moment in Berlin? Because I'm still not tired talking about it, although we're talking about it every show. Because I'm under the impression that people are becoming skeptical about if there's really something going on, and even more skeptical than they were at the end of 2012, because people are, as we started this conversation now, actually thinking about, okay, shit, I have to make money. So what's your assessment about, what factors do you see where you think, okay, maybe it will be something?
I arrived 2008 in Berlin to start companies here, and at that time it felt like the amount of entrepreneurs that were mingling on the events was just as big as the people now here in this room. So since then, I could see the scene really developing in instead of hundreds of entrepreneurs, now we have thousands. And then the always upcoming question with all the hype is, are there also startups that eventually we will make it big and that will make money? And I think there are probably a lot of startups that make money, that now draw a lot of talent also in growing crazily, not only Zalando, but also probably 20, 30 other startups. And then there are a lot of startups that are very early, that are maybe a bit like your company in 2008. Yeah. And some of them will find their way to be successful. Some others of them, they will go away. But the founders, they will not dislike the experience they have, and they will just start something new, go into a new company. I'm not seeing Berlin is not making it. I'm just very optimistic for the future of Berlin.
And I mean, you have clearly contributed, because how many companies have you now started?
In Berlin actually 4, and they have now about 400 people. And one of the success factors for those companies, which are all except Absolventa very international, was just the amount of talent we have here. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity Berlin offered us. And so I cannot understand if people think is Berlin really, is it just a hype? Yeah. There is some hype about some companies, but that's just normal.
Which ones?
I'm not going to name them because I would offend people that I like. So. Okay,
but hype is good, right, or not?
Hype is good to attract more resources to Berlin, yes. So okay. Hype is great. So let's all.
But it's pure marketing, and it doesn't say anything about the company.
There is substance behind. So in the end, I would say the art is use all the public attention Berlin gets to just create more attention, to just create the best talents to Berlin. I think if we look at the people leaving university, even today they don't consider startups as an option. So to have them considering going into the growth of the internet, it's great if all the media reports about the successes here in Berlin. Yeah. And so it's great to have the attention, and so we should not have a problem with it.
Yeah. Ben, availability of money. I mean, if you founded your company in the US with the product that you have now, with so many downloads. You would have gotten 2 years ago maybe 10, 20 million from some American VC who would just have said to you, go guys, you have a cool product, go ahead. Wouldn't you have been way further if you had your company founded in the US?
It could be, but it could also be that we would not exist anymore because especially for our product, it's so much about local content. And if it comes to that and the retail and the food market in the States, for example, it's more like several countries than one country. So we also would need so much more resources if we would start the product there. So I don't know, maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. But I'm happy here, so that's fine.
Give them a very big applause. Jan Beckers and Benjamin Thym. Okay, it's now time to take a shot. Jan, okay. Because it's not all about party in the Berliner scene, right?
It's not, but it's tonight. So welcome to our home. It's our new office. I hope you have a fantastic night. And if there are any problems, just come to me.
Yeah. Okay. And if you have any problems, come to Benny. Party on.